Thank you for choosing wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. Part 1, Opening. Why the rich secretly use fool's gold. They call it fool's gold. But what if the real fools are the ones who ignore it? Pyrite may look like gold's cheaper cousin, but for centuries, it has quietly held a reputation that goes far beyond appearances. In crystal healing, in feng shui, and even in the private rituals of some of the world's most successful people, this sparkling stone is considered far more than decoration. It's believed to be a magnet for wealth, not just in dollars, but in mindset, clarity, and inner alignment. You might be surprised to know that several high-performing entrepreneurs, people like Oprah, who has spoken often about the power of intention, or even athletes like Serena Williams, who regularly integrates ritual and focus into her training, have turned to crystals like pyrite as energetic anchors. It's not about superstition. It's about vibration. About aligning energy with action. Pyrite has long been linked to prosperity and confidence. It's a stone associated with the solar plexus, the energy center responsible for our drive, courage, and self-worth. And those who work with it don't just place it on a shelf. They use it intentionally, in their workspace, near their wallets, or even in their meditation practice to shift internal blocks and attract clarity and opportunity. But here's where most people get it wrong. They think crystals like pyrite are magical shortcuts. That just having one will change your life. But in truth, pyrite works more like a mirror. It reflects the energy you bring, the beliefs you hold, and the direction you choose. Used wisely, it can support your transformation. Used passively, it's just another shiny rock. So in this video, we're going to explore what makes pyrite so revered, not from a place of hype, but from the perspective of ancient wisdom, feng shui principles, and grounded Buddhist insight. We'll uncover where to place it, how to use it, and more importantly, how to align your energy so that wealth doesn't just visit, it stays. Because the truth is, real prosperity doesn't begin with luck. It begins with awareness. Part 2, Pyrite and Dharma, the hidden law of attraction. In Buddhism, wealth is never condemned, but it is redefined. True wealth, according to the Dharma, is not measured by what we possess, but by the clarity, discipline, and compassion we bring to how we live. Pyrite, in this light, becomes more than a symbol of gold or prosperity. It becomes a reflection of inner readiness. This golden mineral is often associated with the solar plexus chakra, the seat of personal will and direction. In Buddhist terms, this parallels right effort, one of the elements of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right effort is not about pushing harder. It's about aligning our intention with right action, cultivating energy that is steady, mindful, and rooted in truth. Pyrite reminds us of this principle, not because it gives us power, but because it reflects the energy we already hold. When a practitioner places pyrite on their altar, or uses it during meditation, they aren't summoning money. What they're really doing is anchoring themselves in awareness. They are asking, where does my wealth begin? Is it in what I acquire, or in how I direct my attention? Pyrite's association with confidence and decision-making can be seen as an external pointer toward inner discernment. In the Dhammapada, it is said that the mind is the forerunner of all actions. If the mind is clear, so will be the results. If the mind is clouded by fear, attachment, or confusion, even the best strategies can collapse. Pyrite, in this view, is not a cause, but a companion. There's a reason many spiritual teachers speak of energy alignment before action. Without alignment, effort becomes scattered. We chase outcomes. We grasp at symbols. We mistake the gold for the goal. But with clarity, effort flows naturally. Wealth arrives not because we demand it, but because we are open to receiving it with responsibility and purpose. The Dharma doesn't ask us to reject wealth. It asks us to understand its nature. Just like fire, wealth can warm or burn. Pyrite sits at the intersection of these truths. It teaches us that material prosperity and spiritual growth are not enemies, but must be held in right relationship. And that relationship begins with the self. If we seek abundance outside but are full of scarcity inside, nothing will be enough. But if we cultivate generosity, focus, and wise intention, even a simple stone becomes a source of transformation. Pyrite is not magic. But neither is the mind. And yet both, when focused, can shape destiny. Part 3, Feng Shui Power. Where you place it changes everything. In Feng Shui, placement reveals priority. Every object in your home carries energy, and how you position it becomes a silent declaration to the universe. Buddhism teaches the same. As the mind inclines, so follows the world. Your outer space reflects your inner state. Pyrite, with its bold golden presence, should never be placed casually. It asks you to be intentional. Start with the southeast corner, Feng Shui's wealth area. It governs prosperity and long-term vision. While pyrite is a metal element and the southeast belongs to wood, they can support each other when balanced. Place pyrite on a wooden shelf or near a plant to harmonize this energy. It's not about rigid rules, it's about thoughtful flow. Your desk is another powerful location. This is where energy turns into action. Pyrite placed in the top left corner, the wealth sector of your desk, can help sharpen focus and absorb distraction. But don't let it sit in clutter. A blocked space equals blocked energy. One overlooked area is the entryway. In Feng Shui, your front door is the mouth of Qi, the entry point for all energy. A clean, well-lit space with a small piece of pyrite can welcome in prosperity. But avoid placing it next to messes or disorder, as pyrite amplifies what surrounds it. Some places, however, are not ideal. Bathrooms, full of draining water energy, can symbolically wash wealth away. Kitchens, ruled by fire, may clash with pyrite's metal energy. And though the bedroom may seem like a good place to sleep with abundance, pyrite's active vibration can disturb rest. If needed, keep it tucked away from the bed. Ultimately, where you place pyrite matters, but how you place it matters more. It's not about superstition. It's about intention. Energy flows where attention goes. And when you position pyrite with care, you're not chasing wealth, you're preparing for it. Not just in your home, but in your life. Part 4, Real Stories, When Pyrite Transformed Lives. Pyrite doesn't change lives. People do, when their inner readiness meets intentional action. This stone, as powerful as it may appear, is not a magical force. It is a mirror, a symbol, a reminder. For centuries, spiritual practitioners have used crystals not to replace effort, but to focus it. When placed with mindfulness, a simple object can become a compass pointing us back to clarity. These 3 stories aren't about superstition or blind belief. They're about individuals who made conscious shifts, and how pyrite supported that process. Story 1, The Burnt Out Entrepreneur. Alex was the kind of person who lived on ambition. At 35, he had launched 3 startups. All had failed, not because the ideas were bad, but because he pushed so hard, he ignored everything else. Health, relationships, even joy. After his 3rd company collapsed, Alex found himself alone in his apartment, surrounded by whiteboards full of half-finished business models. One day, While cleaning out a dusty storage box in the garage, he discovered a small, square box, a gift from an old college friend. Inside was a chunk of pyrite. It seemed ironic. Fool's gold, he thought. How fitting. But something about its glint stopped him. On impulse, he placed it on his desk. And the next morning, instead of rushing into spreadsheets and funding plans, he sat in silence and asked himself a question he hadn't considered in years. Why am I building anything at all? Over the following weeks, Alex began reworking his life, not just his next project. He narrowed his focus, cut unnecessary meetings, and shifted his business plan to something aligned with his actual strengths. 6 months later, he secured investment, not by hustling harder, but by presenting a grounded, clear vision. The pyrite remained on his desk, not as a lucky charm, but as a reminder. Success doesn't come from force. It comes from alignment. Story 2. The single mother who reclaimed her energy. Lisa taught second grade in a small town outside Chicago. She was also a single mom of 2, constantly juggling bills, schedules, and the quiet ache of exhaustion. Her home reflected her state, piles of unopened mail on the side table, especially in the southeast corner of her living room. One evening, while browsing online, she came across a video on Feng Shui. It explained the wealth corner and how clutter blocks energy. Curious and skeptical, she decided to make one small change. She cleared that corner, brought in a small wooden table, added a plant, and placed a piece of pyrite she ordered online right at the center. She didn't expect much. But over the next few weeks, she began to feel different. Lighter. More in control. A friend invited her to write part-time for an educational blog, and soon after, her school offered her after-school tutoring hours. Nothing felt forced, it all arrived naturally, in flow. The pyrite hadn't created opportunities. It had helped her recognize them. By clearing physical space, she had made room for mental space. And that made all the difference. The stone is only a mirror. Each of these stories is different. A founder, a mother, an athlete. But they share one truth. When we shift our space with intention, our lives begin to shift with it. Pyrite didn't solve their problems. It held space for their clarity. It reminded them that prosperity is not something we chase, it's something we prepare for. In Buddhist philosophy, there's a saying, what you hold in your heart, you shape with your hands. When we hold fear, we act from desperation. But when we hold focus, gratitude, and inner stillness, even a stone becomes sacred. Let pyrite be your mirror, not your shortcut. Let it reflect your readiness to grow, not your need to control. Because the real transformation never comes from what we place outside, but from what we're willing to rearrange within. Part 5, Rituals and Daily Practice, Turning Stone into Flow. Wisdom, when not practiced, becomes decoration. You can own a shelf full of spiritual books, place crystals around your house, even repeat affirmations daily. But if your actions don't change, if your energy remains scattered, all of it becomes noise. In Buddhist teaching, wisdom, prajna, must walk hand in hand with action, karma. The same principle applies to pyrite. It won't transform your life unless you do something with it. Pyrite, when used intentionally, becomes a powerful tool for anchoring focus, refining energy, and shaping wealth, not just in the material sense, but in clarity, purpose, and emotional balance. Here are 3 simple but profound rituals you can begin today. Ritual 1. Morning Wealth Intention. Before the world rushes in, before emails and to-do lists take over, there's a brief moment each morning when your energy is most fluid. This is when you can plant intention into your day like a seed. Sit quietly for just 3 minutes. Hold your pyrite in your palm or place it in front of you on a table. Breathe deeply, slow inhales, slow exhales. Then ask yourself one question: where do I want energy to flow today? Let that question sit in your awareness. Don't rush the answer. You might sense clarity around a conversation you've been avoiding, a creative idea you've been postponing, or even a financial step you've been hesitant to take. Before ending the ritual, choose one small action aligned with that flow. Maybe it's reaching out to a potential client. Maybe it's canceling a subscription you no longer need. Maybe it's opening your journal to revisit your goals. The key is alignment. Let the pyrite remind you that your energy is valuable, and where you place it matters. Ritual 2, desk anchor for focus and flow. Most distractions don't come from the outside, they come from within. The mind wanders, doubts arise, and suddenly, an hour has passed without clarity. Pyrite can serve as an anchor during your workday. Place it on the top left corner of your desk, what Feng Shui refers to as the wealth corner. This is not superstition. It's spatial mindfulness. That corner represents expansion, vision, and long-term growth. Before beginning any important task, writing, presenting, decision-making, pause for 30 seconds. Look at your pyrite. Let it reflect your purpose back to you. Remind yourself, I am choosing to direct my energy with focus and intention. This micro-ritual recalibrates your mind. Over time, you'll notice that it becomes a trigger for flow. Like a mental doorway into deeper presence. Ritual 3, weekly clearing and recharge. Just as our bodies need rest and our minds need stillness, the objects we interact with also absorb and hold energy. If you use pyrite regularly, it's essential to keep it energetically clean. Once a week, perhaps on Sunday evening or Monday morning, take 5 minutes to cleanse and recharge your stone. Wipe it gently with a clean cloth. You can also use dry sea salt, smudge with white sage or Palo Santo, or simply place it near an open window to receive early morning sunlight. While doing this, write one short line in a journal or notepad. What does wealth mean to me this week? This isn't about goals or numbers. It's about energetic orientation. Maybe this week wealth means feeling rested, or expressing your ideas with clarity, or holding boundaries. The question itself becomes your compass. Ritual is not about superstition. It's about creating rhythm, structure for your inner alignment to return to, again and again. Bonus tip, layer with intention. Although pyrite is powerful on its own, its energy can be enhanced when paired with complementary symbols. For example, citrine encourages confidence and self-worth, amplifying the abundance frequency. Clear quartz acts as an energy amplifier and clarifier, ideal for vision work. A Bodhi leaf or small mala bead can ground the ritual in your spiritual practice, reminding you of presence and impermanence. What matters isn't what you use, but how you use it. When objects are chosen with care and used with consistency, they shift from being ornaments to being allies. Closing reflection, simple, sacred, sustainable. Too many people search for grand rituals, believing that transformation requires something dramatic. But the deepest changes often begin with the smallest steps. 3 minutes of quiet presence. A stone on your desk. A cleared corner of space. That's all it takes to begin building a different relationship with energy, prosperity, and purpose. In Buddhism, there is a phrase, a single drop, again and again, can fill the bowl. These daily rituals with pyrite are your drops. Over time, they shape not just what flows to you, but who you become while receiving it. Part 6, Warning, when pyrite doesn't work. There's a quiet trap that many seekers fall into. They hear about pyrite's reputation as a money magnet, so they rush to buy one, place it in their home, And wait. Days pass. Then weeks. Nothing happens. The bills are still there. The stress is still real. And eventually, they toss the stone aside, disappointed. It didn't work. But here's the truth. Pyrite isn't broken. The ritual is. No crystal, no symbol, no object, no matter how powerful, can override the energy we bring to it. In Buddhism, this is the law of karma. Causes and conditions shape results. If the mind is full of fear, scarcity, and avoidance, no stone can create abundance. You can't plant a seed in dry soil and expect it to grow. You have to tend the soil first. One of the most common mistakes is using pyrite as a substitute for effort. Hoping it will attract wealth without making hard choices, setting boundaries, or doing the internal work. But pyrite reflects, not replaces, your readiness. It amplifies what's already there. If you sit with it full of clarity, it strengthens your vision. If you place it in a room full of clutter, distraction, and doubt, it will simply echo back the same energy. Another mistake is putting pyrite in the wrong environment. Feng Shui isn't about superstition, it's about energetic flow. Place it in a corner of chaos, or tuck it behind a pile of unopened mail, and its frequency becomes blocked. Think of it like placing a lamp in a closet and wondering why it doesn't light the room. Some people also attach too much expectation to the stone itself. They believe it should bring results. But that thinking itself creates resistance. Wanting too much creates tension. In Buddhist thought, clinging is the very cause of suffering. When you grasp at outcomes, you block their arrival. Pyrite works best not when you chase wealth, but when you prepare for it. When your space is clear, your mind is calm, and your actions are aligned. So if it doesn't work, ask first, am I working with it, or just waiting for it to fix what I'm avoiding? Because in the end, the magic isn't in the stone. It's in how you meet it, with mindfulness, intention, and courage to change. Part 7. Pyrite is not gold, it's a mirror. Pyrite has fooled people for centuries. At first glance, it looks like gold, shiny, weighty, valuable. But miners quickly learned the truth. It wasn't precious metal. It was fool's gold. Yet what if that name isn't a warning, but an invitation? In Buddhist practice, we often say the world is illusion, not because it's fake, but because it's misunderstood. We mistake appearance for essence, form for truth. Pyrite invites us into that same reflection. It looks like wealth. But what it truly reveals is our relationship with wealth, how we think about it, chase it, fear it, or block it. That's why pyrite, when used with awareness, becomes far more powerful than gold. Gold gives you purchasing power. Pyrite gives you self-awareness. If you place pyrite in your home and expect it to do the work, you've missed its purpose. But if you place it with care, if you cleanse the space around it, set clear intention, and move through your day with presence, then the stone becomes a mirror. Not of your bank account, but of your inner energy. Are you holding scarcity or gratitude? Are you clinging or allowing? Are you living from alignment or reaction? Pyrite, in this way, becomes a teacher. Not because it speaks, but because it reflects. It shows you where your energy is stuck, what stories you're telling yourself about money, and whether you're truly open to receive, or just pretending to be. Wealth, like all things in the Dharma, is a reflection of karma, cause and effect. When you bring right effort, right intention, and right attention to your life, abundance flows naturally. Not always in the form you expect, but always in the form you need. So the next time you look at that piece of fool's gold on your desk or altar, ask yourself, what is it showing me about myself today? Because maybe pyrite isn't here to attract gold. Maybe it's here to help you become the kind of person who no longer needs to chase it. If today's reflection stirred something in you, if you found clarity, calm, or even a question worth sitting with, then this space was worth sharing. At Wisdom of the Dharma, we don't just talk about objects. We talk about the energy behind them. The thoughts that shape our choices. The intention that turns ordinary things, like a stone on your shelf, into powerful tools for transformation. So if this message resonated, I invite you to subscribe. Not just to the channel, but to a way of living more mindfully, more consciously, more intentionally. Share this video with someone who's been searching for meaning in their surroundings. Leave a comment if Pyrite, or any other ritual, has helped you shift your mindset or open a new path. And most of all, place what you've heard today not just in your space, but in your heart. Because energy flows where intention goes. And the wealth you're seeking may already be within you, waiting for permission to flow. Until next time, may you live with awareness, act with courage, and attract not just gold, but wisdom.